Hey, Scott.
Hey, what's going on, Emily?
Not much. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So apparently we saw each other years ago at events. COVID just feels longer than a year, but it's good to see your face again.
Yeah, it's like
And
a time warp. That's true.
isn't it though?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I got to tell you, so this concept was, as you know, it was just launched with FranNet last Monday. So it's been about 9 days. And I listened to the launch call and I'm really excited about this brand. And I thank you for making yourself available so quickly to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And so we can learn more. So please, tell us about physical therapy and balance centers.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, the launch was fantastic, and we've had a very warm reception, I'll say, since the launch. Lots of interest. So physical. I'll give you the quick background. Physical therapy and balance centers was started really kind of founded in 2012 and launched in October. We started franchising in October of 2013. And we are the largest physical therapy franchise in the world, actually. Today, we have over 420 open locations across the United States, and we're just now getting ready to start to go up into Canada. I've got a group that we're going to be doing some work with up in Canada, so really exciting stuff. Founded by a really amazing business person, a guy named Jim Abrams. And Jim had previously founded three very successful brands in the home services industry, grew those to thousands of units, and thought he was going to retire. But as luck would have it, he had the need for some PT on his own. And like a lot of entrepreneurs, started looking at, while he's in there getting PT, started looking at it and going, wow, this is a really amazing concept. This is something that's very franchisable. So it was his brainchild, and that's what he did. He launched it, and yeah, the growth has been phenomenal over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I would never look at PT and think franchise. In my
Sure.
head, they're separate. So how does one and oftentimes when we educate people is you don't need industry experience in the franchise that you owned. And here we're talking about physical therapy. So explain that to us.
Yeah, here's how you have to think about it. Physical therapy is no different than any other business. It is what it is. It's a business where we provide a service to a person that's in need of that service. So whether it's a plumbing service, an electrical service, a house painting service, what have you, it's a service that's in need. And so, as I explain to people, physical therapists are going to work for somebody. They work for somebody today. They should work for you within your business. So you're going to hire them. You're going to hire a physical therapist. That's one of the great things about this model. One of the things that I love, I've been in the franchising industry for 17 years. And one of the things that attracted me to this brand was I loved the fact that when you start this business, you start with 3 employees. You start with a front desk person, you start with a physical therapist, and you start with a sales and marketing liaison. So, and you can build a very nice business with 5 to 6 employees, which is very different than a lot of franchise brands where you're managing 20, 30 hourly employees.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So he needed his own physical therapy. I mean, I know I've been there. I've done my
Yeah.
physical therapy from car accidents to running injuries. I've had my stints with PT. So he's sitting there and he sees that it's an opportunity that's franchisable and he's got tremendous experience in franchising. And so he launches this. So tell us about really the role of the owner. So I get a sense of how many employees and we'll talk about the services more, but what is the owner
Sure.
doing on a regular basis?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question that we get a lot. So in this business, the owner's primary role are a couple of things. Number one, I always start with creating the right culture within this business, right? This is a business based upon getting people healed and back on their feet and ready to go live life at their best. So, creating that right culture within that business is the foundation. And we talk a lot, we live a lot that when we take our franchisees through what we call physical lab. So that is our primary training that we do out here in Sarasota, Florida. We actually spend time in our locations and we teach about the culture and we really foster that aspect of it. So it starts with culture. So they are the foundation of building that. The second part is managing the numbers of the business. The great part about this business is that the metrics and numbers are very straightforward. And on a daily basis, they're going to have what's called a daily management report that's going to give them the 5 key metrics that they need from the previous day, and they can tie that back to the day, the week, and the month, and making sure they're on plan. So we take that very seriously. And when a new franchisee joins, this is very unique. I've never seen a franchise do this before. We actually, with the operations team, they will sit down with that new franchisee and they will establish a business plan for them for that calendar year, in which they're establishing goals based on the metrics and revenues, et cetera. So it's very easy to track how you're doing against plan, and our team is staying in touch with them to make sure that's happening. So it's managing those metrics, and of course, hiring, training, making sure that the staff is trained properly. And I'm not talking about training them on PT. They know how to do that. It's really the nuts and bolts of the business operation, right? And then lastly, it's making sure that their marketing plan is happening. We will establish with them a local marketing plan. We call it 4 walls, 4 blocks, 4 miles. So that is how we establish and build our marketing plans. And their job is to make sure that their sales and marketing liaison is out there doing what they need to do to drive the business forward. Again, extremely trackable. So that's the owner's primary role.
Got it. And what I love, and this sounds bad, but obviously this is Amazon proof. As long as there are people running with poor form, they're gonna need this. I'll tell on myself here. I ran for years on poor form, needed PT. Unfortunately, car accidents or incidences, people get sick and need to, recover. So I can't see a time where physical therapy is not going to be needed, but it's called physical therapy and balance centers. So talk to me about the balance aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely. So just to kind of tie a bow around it. So, when most people think of physical therapy, and frankly, most people have had physical therapy at some point in their life, or they definitely know somebody that has. Most people think of it as, recovery from an injury or a surgery, things like that. What's great about this business is that, like you said, it's not only Amazon proof, it's extremely recession resistant, because, the fact of the matter is there's always people in need of care. And, with our business, the fact is there's 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day in the United States. And that wave is going to continue. So we're kind of on the front end of that, right? So we do traditional, what you would think of as, regular kind of physical therapy services, right? Injury rehab from surgeries, elective surgeries, knee replacements, hip surgeries, those kinds of things. The balance aspect is extremely unique, and really we are the only ones doing this. And so balance therapy, really we call it balance and vestibular therapy. And I won't bore you with the vestibular side of it, but think things like vertigo, right? Now, the reason this is important is that 40% of the American population will experience balance and dizziness issues at some point in their life. And
40%?
40%. It's an enormous number. Yeah, it's true. And falls are the number one cause of both fatal and non-fatal injuries among seniors. So, here's what happens, right? So when people start to have balance and dizziness issues, a lot of times they kind of ignore it at first because it doesn't happen all day, every day. And then eventually it starts to impact their life. And it starts, they don't take the dog for a walk anymore because they're afraid to, right? Rightly so. So it starts to impact their life. Believe it or not, the large majority of doctors do not know how to treat balance and dizziness issues. So they will refer a patient to an ear, nose, and throat doc. That person usually doesn't know how to treat it either, unless it's surgically treatable. And in most cases, it's not. So these people just go untreated. So we have a proprietary balance therapy program that we take people through. It's been designed over the last decade by a guy named Dr. Brian Werner, who works for us, and he's our director of balance services. He does all the training with all the PTs and owners on balance therapy. And what's great about it, it's an incredibly unique niche that's in enormous demand. So, when you think about, it's not only traditional PT services, but also this balance paradigm. And we get a ton of referrals from physicians of all types because they need somewhere to send these patients.
Yeah. Wow, that means so much. I mean, I know I moved. You've been to Portland. We've met in Portland. So I was born and raised in Portland, but I moved out to Bend, which is about 3 hours from Portland. And I was so happy when my mom moved from Portland out to Bend, just so I can be near her. And but the thing is like I can be near her and help her recover from a potential fall, but you provide a service that could actually help prevent the fall.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
really grateful for those services. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm,
It's interesting, just as a side note on that, I would tell you that probably 20 to 25% of franchise candidates that we speak to, they can absolutely relate to that because they either themselves or a family member have had balance and dizziness issues over time. And so, and I've heard so many times we don't know what to do. We have no idea where to go to get treatment for this. So it's a real thing, and it's a great service we provide.
That's huge. And I'm looking at your Zoom background, unless
Yeah,
you're actually sitting in a center, but I'm pretty sure it's a Zoom background.
it
So,
is.
so I assume this is a picture of a center?
Yeah, it is. All right. This is one of our local clinics here in Southwest Florida. Um, one of the other things I love about this model is the very simple and straightforward build out cost. It's essentially an open box with a couple of small treatment rooms, a lobby area. And what you see is what you get as far as what a clinic looks like. So the overall cost to open a center is about $250,000 all in. And we're able to do that because we can keep our construction costs very, very reasonable. If you can kind of see this thing right here.
Yeah, yeah.
That goes up to what's called an overhead harness system, and that is specialized and designed for each clinic. So we design that specifically for each clinic based on the footprint. That's part of what we use when we're doing our balance and vestibular therapy with patients.
Nice.
Yeah.
So and I told you this is another thing, and thank you for all the emails, because it almost sounded too good to be true, because it is so unique to have a master franchise available. So for anybody that's listening, I emailed Scott. I was like, would you please clarify, is it a master model or an area developer? And what is the best answer to an either or question? I mean, yeah, both. You answered with both. So will you please talk us through the various ownership models?
Yeah, definitely. So let's start kind of at the top, kind of the bigger opportunities,
Yeah.
And certainly not going to be the right opportunity for everybody, but a master opportunity, often sometimes called an area representative opportunity, that would be for a person that wants to purchase a large chunk of geography. Let's say 1 million to 2 million people in Dallas, Fort Worth, just as an example. So they make that purchase up front. In many cases, they will own their own clinic, but if we have a number of clinics in the market, we may not require them to do that. What we're really looking for with masters is partners to help us develop the metro area that they purchase. What's unique about our opportunity is that we do the lion's share of the support, and we do that for a reason. We're looking for people that can really help us grow that market by being boots on the ground to meet with potential candidates and things like that in person. So we do the training for all of our new franchisees. We do all the real estate support. We do all the construction support. We do all of that. So, in a traditional master model, the master would really be on point for all those things. And we certainly welcome and want as much involvement as they want to. But our real expectation is they're helping us, be boots on the ground to grow that market. Now, as a master, it's a very unique opportunity because they share in the franchise fees. So they get a percentage of the franchise license fees. And when we sell a new unit, they also get a percentage of the royalties. So you really have to think of a master as a very separate kind of a business than being in franchising. You're almost a sub-franchise. You're almost a version of the franchisor. So you're creating a royalty stream for yourself. And that's really the end game within a master opportunity, right? Is to grow that territory 20, 30, 40 units and be collecting a royalty stream from those units. So we're looking for 4 to 6 masters this year. And so, yeah, that's really the kind of the starting point. Now, the level below that would be what I call an area developer. Now, this is for somebody who wants to, say, control the geography in terms of owning location. So, for example, let's say somebody wanted to grow, they wanted to grow 5 to 7 clinics within the South Portland area. Okay, so they're looking to control a chunk of geography, but they're going to own all those locations. Okay, so they're purchasing the development rights for those locations. There's discounts for the purchase of a larger territory like that. And their end game is to own all those clinics, and then ultimately at some point down the road sell those. Okay, but they're going to own those themselves. And then lastly would be a person that wants to own 1 to say 3 clinics in a market, start a little bit on a little bit smaller scale, and possibly grow from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
my pleasure.
So tell me, if someone is listening to this and they would like to learn more about this opportunity, what are their next steps?
Yeah. So what we really want people to do is to complete the FranNet entrepreneur profile. We want to start with that, and once they've completed that, obviously they'll work with you or the other folks at FranNet, and then be put in contact with us, and then we'll start to work with them together and take them through our discovery process. We've got a really amazing discovery process, lots of content. People love numbers. We got lots of numbers to share. So really, really good stuff. But yeah, it starts with the FranNet profile.
Got it. Got it. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because everybody loves numbers.
I do too.
So when you say we have lots of numbers to share, I'm sure that could get plenty of people excited. Well, again, Scott, thank you so much for taking the
Yeah, of
time,
course.
and congratulations not only on already the success of physical therapy and balance centers. I mean, 420 locations. And then
Yeah.
I'm so excited for additional success now that we have the partnership with FranNet. So I look
Yeah.
forward to speaking with you again.
Yeah, likewise. All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Emily.
Enjoy the
Okay.
rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.